Good morning, everyone. It's February 5th. We're just starting our fifth week. Hard to imagine it's going by so quickly. Uh, the first thing I want to say today is that this week, or the beginning of next week, I'd like each of you to send me 3 dates when we can have a half hour to 45 minutes to discuss your final project and also to discuss how this course is meeting your needs, or more importantly, what I might do to help you better meet those needs. Um, in a way, this is what you might call a midterm evaluation, which leads into this week's discussion. We're all, at a certain level, self reflective practitioners. We all sit back and we think about, could I have done this right? Did I do this right? Could I have done it better? What could I have done to make it better? And I think we do this often subconsciously. We do this in a way that, uh, unfortunately, we have better hindsight than we have foresight. And oftentimes we can't change what we have already said or what we've already started. But we have 4 weeks left in this course, and I would like to make sure that I have your input on how I can better respond to your needs. Measurement of effectiveness, of a team effectiveness, is one of the most difficult things to establish. There's a lot of metrics that we can use. One is a team working well together. Another is the team communicating openly together, and um, things of that nature. What I would like to suggest that's critically important to an effective team is that you start each session with an agenda. Maybe send that agenda out a week before if it's possible. Let everyone know what the goal of the meeting is. And when you start the meeting, follow the agenda. If there's things that pop up during the meeting, you can say, okay, let's finish the agenda, let's finish what we have to do, and then we'll see if there's time. If not, we'll add it to the next meeting. Or if there's fires that erupt before the meeting, which often is the case, make that clear by sending everyone a note before the meeting saying, hey, something just came up, we have to address it. It'll take about 10 minutes, and then we'll move on to the agenda. The worst thing that you can do in terms of team effectiveness is to, one, not create an agenda, and two, create an agenda that you don't follow. The other thing I'd like to emphasize is that every team has a long-term goal, which needs to be clarified. But how do you get to that goal? And so one of the first things you do at your initial meeting, which will determine a measurement of success, is to set benchmarks, short-term benchmarks, and map those out. Clarify, okay, in the next 2 weeks we have to do this. In the next month we have to have this accomplished. In the next 6 weeks we have to have this accomplished. It's critically important to have benchmarks, short-term goals that are easily achievable relative to the long-term mission of the team. The other thing that's important to remember is that you can measure the team's progress by whether or not you achieve those benchmarks. I'm a strong believer in benchmarks. I'm also a strong believer in following the agenda. In this week's reading, we'll focus in on measurement, evaluation, and especially how do you determine success. We'll end that with a discussion on what is the self-reflective practitioner and how can you personally, as whether you're a team leader or a team member, support the team through your own self-analysis. Self-analysis is one of the hardest things to do, at least for me. So on that note, I'm going to keep this video short, but what I'd like you to do is to send me 2 or 3 times in the next week, no later than by the end of next Tuesday, when we can set up a time to meet. I would much prefer to do it between 8 and 5. I, like you, like to have my evenings to myself when I can get some work done. If that's not at all possible, make it early evening. We can do it by phone or Zoom, whatever works best for you. And prior to our meeting, I'll read your term paper outline and topic and try to be prepared for, so I can better give you constructive feedback. So have a good week, folks. Boy, the Kansas State Wildcats had a rough week last week. Let's hope they can pull it back together so they can make it to the NCAA tournament. On that note, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later.